Good morning, students. I welcome you once again to another video lesson from the chapter Structure of the Atom. In the previous video lesson, I had told you about Thomson's model of atom. Sir J.J. Thomson was the first to predict the picture of an atom, commonly known as the plum pudding model. But we had also seen how this model, even though it could explain the main characteristics of the atom in terms of electrons and protons, but it suffered from certain limitations. One amongst them was that he could not explain the results of the experiments carried by Rutherford and other scientists, which were conducted at a later stage. So today we shall primarily discuss about Rutherford's model of an atom. The major contribution in knowing the relative positions of electrons and protons in an atom was by Ernest Rutherford, a scientist from England. He performed the famous alpha particle scattering experiment in the year 1911. For this, he selected a thin foil of a heavy gold metal. It was about 1000 atoms thick. He bombarded the same with high speed alpha particles. These are in fact positively charged helium nuclei. Each such particle carries a mass of 4 units, that is 4 times that of a proton, and a charge of plus 2 units. The alpha particles were emitted from a radioactive element, radium, enclosed in a lead box. These alpha particles were first passed through a fine slit and then made to strike against the gold foil. To his surprise, these particles got scattered and produced bright flashes, also known as scintillations, on a circular screen coated with zinc sulfide. From the scattering experiment, Rutherford made some important observations. He found that most of the alpha particles were able to pass through the gold foil undeflected. Some of these particles were deflected by small angles. A very few, one out of approximately 12,000 alpha particles, suffered major deflections and even came back in the same direction. These observations were quite unexpected. He thought that all these alpha particles, after striking the gold foil, would come back since the atoms are extremely closely packed. Moreover, gold is also a very heavy metal. However, he made certain conclusions from the experiment. First, as most of the alpha particles pass through undeflected, this means that they did not come across any obstruction in their path. Thus, most of the space in an atom is expected to be empty. As a few alpha particles suffered minor deflections and a very few major deflections, this means that these must have met with some obstructions in their path. This obstruction must be very small because only a few particles were obstructed by it. It should be massive because each alpha particle has 4 unit mass and is quite heavy. It could easily pass through a light obstruction by pushing it aside, and it has to be positively charged. Alpha particles are positive charge. Since they were repelled or deflected back, the obstruction must also carry same charge, that is positive charge. Rutherford regarded this very small, massive and positively charged obstruction in an atom as nucleus. Out of electrons and protons known at that time, only protons were heavy and positively charged. Therefore, Rutherford predicted that all the protons present in an atom are present in this small space, that is nucleus. The alpha particles which came for head-on collisions with the nucleus were deflected back. Or suffered major deflections. The particles which got an opportunity to pass through the positive field around the nucleus suffered minor deflections. It was also observed in the experiment that most of the alpha particles could pass undeflected. This means that the major space in an atom is empty or unoccupied. The electrons with negligible mass and negative charge were supposed to be present in this portion around the nucleus known as extranuclear portion. So on the basis of this experiment, Rutherford proposed his model of atom. Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment made a major contribution towards establishing the position of electrons and protons in an atom. He said an atom consists of two parts. These are nucleus and the extranuclear portion. Nucleus is present in the center of the atom and is surrounded by the extranuclear portion. The radii of the nucleus of an atom is nearly of the order of 10 to the power minus 15 meter, that is also known as 1 Fermi, while that of the atom is about 10 to the power minus 10 meter, which is also known as 1 angstrom. Thus, nucleus is very small in comparison to the atom. The mass of the atom is mainly of the nucleus. All the protons and neutrons, now neutrons were discovered later on by Chadwick. These are present in the nucleus. Collectively, they are known as nucleons. The positive charge on the nucleus is because of the protons present inside the nucleus. Each proton has 1 unit positive charge. All the electrons are present in the extranuclear space around the nucleus. The total positive charge of the nucleus due to the presence of protons is the same as that of the electrons present in the extranuclear space. Therefore, the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. Electrons present in the extranuclear portion are not stationary. These are revolving around the nucleus at high speed following a circular path. The revolving electrons do not come close to the nucleus or drawn towards the nucleus because their force of attraction towards the nucleus is balanced by the centrifugal force, which is of the same magnitude. It is directed away from the nucleus. Now, Rutherford's model of atom is similar to that of the solar system. In the solar system, the different planets are revolving around the sun. In the same manner, in an atom, the electrons that can be compared to planets are revolving around the nucleus, which is comparable to sun. So this model is called the planetary model of atom. Now, what are the limitations of Rutherford's model of atom? We have studied that electrons are not drawn closer to the nucleus as the force of attraction which is acting towards the nucleus is balanced by the centrifugal force acting away from the nucleus. This was the opinion of Rutherford. But this was challenged by another scientist whose name was Maxwell on the basis of radiation theory. According to this theory, charged particles moving in a circular orbit with fast speed emit energy in the form of radiations. Now, since electrons are also fast moving charged particles, they must release energy continuously in the form of radiations. With reduced energy, they must be drawn closer to the nucleus. Since the loss of energy is a continuous process, the electrons must come closer and closer to the nucleus of the atom. Ultimately, they must fall into the nucleus or become its part, as you can see in this diagram. It is expected according to this that the electron should move in a spiral path and ultimately fall inside the nucleus. However, this does not actually happen. The atom is extremely stable in nature. The size of the atom remains the same although the electrons are moving in a circular path as stated earlier. Rutherford could not give a suitable explanation for this. It may therefore be regarded as the major drawback or limitation of the Rutherford model of atom. Apart from these, Rutherford model of atom could not explain as to how the electrons are distributed in the extranuclear portion in an atom. This means it could not give any information regarding the electronic configuration. So, in order to remove these two limitations, some other theories were proposed, and we shall be studying about those theories in the next video lesson. Thank you.